always loved English and particularly reading. When I went to secondary school though, which was like high school, my favourite subject quickly became history. The thing that I loved about history when I was a kid was the stories. I think it's like one big story, and the people that we talk about in history are like characters. It teaches you so much about the world and about the way people see each other and the way people behave. So it's just endlessly fascinating, every type of history. My favourite is Battle Abbey in Sussex, because it is the scene of the Battle of Hastings. There is a connection here for me as well, because I first learned about the Bayeux Tapestry. And the Bayeux Tapestry, arguably, is one of the first ever English comics. My advice to any kid going to a historic site tomorrow would be to read a tiny little bit about it before you go. Just even a paragraph. Or if you can't read, ask a grown-up to spend 5 minutes telling you about the coolest things about it. Then when you go, imagine what it would have been like to live back in those times. I think it's really fascinating just to put yourself in those shoes or those sandals or those Roman boots. My top tips to create your own comic strip is make yourself a character and give yourself a character name like we do in Beano. Depending on your name, get a letter that's the same as the first letter in your name and find a really good word that describes you and your personality. The second thing to do is to create a really simple story. You need 3 things, and people forget this, but you need a beginning, a middle, and an end. The beginning, you introduce your character, you introduce yourself, you talk about what they like to do. You can do this really quickly. The middle is when something happens to your character. Usually, and the easiest way to do this is to think about a problem they face and how they might overcome it. The story ends when you resolve this and everything's back to normal again. Or maybe it isn't back to normal. Maybe everything's going off in a whole new direction, and that's where the story continues. And the final thing to do, if you want it to be a comic strip, is to use stick people to very quickly tell your story. You just need to draw squares, simple stick people, little lines, and you cut the words down to what the characters say. Anyone can read a comic because the pictures tell you what is happening first and foremost, and then you add the words as an extra thing. So that's the best way for you to kind of start your comic career after a visit to English heritage sites.